To the PC leadership race this summer. What ground have the opposition parties made up? Apart from repeated calls for the finance minister's resignation, the Wildrose has been outlining party platforms, including a plan to refund 50% of post-secondary student loans for those entering industry struggling with labor shortages. Janet, what do you make of how the opposition Wildrose has made use of the past few months?
Well, I think the PC party has just handed a gift to the Wildrose and the other opposition parties. You know, this is a case of just kind of give your enemy enough rope and they'll hang themselves. So I think really the Wildrose has just spent much of the summer sitting back and sort of enjoying all the hijinks from the PC party, and they probably all realize that there's not too much more damage they can inflict on the PCs than they're inflicting on themselves. Having said that, the Wildrose is sort of in the process of unfolding an election campaign and that sort of thing. So, you know, they're trying to look like they're serious. They're trying to look like they're out there talking about serious policy when everybody else is talking about controversies. And I think you're going to see a slow build over the next couple of years where the Wildrose more and more tries to present itself as the government in waiting. And it seems like they were quiet this summer, but you know, I think that just seems appropriate. Given what's happened, I think it's a good strategy.
Laurie, the Wildrose strategists, who do they have their eyes on most? Is it the outcome of the PC leadership race, or are they targeting that next election?
Well, I think both. I think what they're doing right now is they're gathering information for campaign ads in the next election. They have done a couple of things that have been interesting in terms of trying to expose some of Jim Prentice's record, sort of take the shine off of the armor, if you like. And I think they've been somewhat effective in terms of stepping back when it was appropriate, but bringing forth information at times. I think there were times when they could have been a bit more effective, that sometimes they spoke when it would have been better just to be silent because it didn't seem to be going anywhere. The questions about Prentice's character seemed a little bit wishy-washy to me. But they are looking at new policies as well, as Janet said, and one of those areas that we've seen just now are in terms of education policy suggests to me that maybe a bit more work needs to be done. They're talking about forgiving student loans for students who are in areas where we need, if they work in Alberta, in areas where we have labor shortages. There's a very short-term sort of view, and the suggestion that they're going to do online courses kind of smacks of some of the things that the government was saying about sort of rejigging education policy. The one thing they said that was really good, though, is consistency in funding. And I think consistency across the board. Policy, funding, not sort of trying to reinvent the wheel periodically would be a wiser strategy there. But when they make policy proposals like that, they're taking flyers and looking, I think, to the next election and what they can do in terms of making headway as they would be the next government, the things they would do as the next government.
All right, folks, it's time for polling the pundits. So, Graham, I'm going to throw it to you first.
Right, thank you.
Who's up in the polls? Who's down?
Who's up? I'm not really sure who's down. Thomas Lukaszuk. You can say the PC party is down. It's very clear. Who's up? On Alberta, I don't know who's up in Alberta. I was going to say Vladimir
Well, what about
Putin.
the Liberals? We haven't been talking about the Liberals
They're not up.
much of them.
They're
We've talked about
down.
the NDP. We'll be talking about them more with our own race coming up. But where's Raj Sherman in party?
Well, the Liberals are really on their way out. You get the indication this is a party that's in decline. This is a party that's losing two of their MLAs. They're going to run federally for the federal Liberals in Calgary. So you got nobody really left. You got Laurie Blakeman and Raj Sherman. You got a few, you know, David Swan. This is a party that's really going to go nowhere, and it hasn't really been standing out this summer. In part because we're focused on the PCs. We're focused on the Wildrose, and the NDP is having its own leadership race as well. A little bit more of a glimmer of hope for maybe a lot of a glimmer of hope for the NDP compared to the Liberals. Liberals are, to me, a party in major decline.
All right, let's leave our last 30 seconds to split between the ladies. Laurie, you're up first. Who's up? Who's down?
Difficult to find someone up in Alberta, but I'm going to go with the premiers of the provinces. This recent conference, they actually are moving forward on a national energy strategy. You know, kudos have to go to Alison Redford for her initiative on that, and it looks like it's going somewhere that it wasn't able to before. Down, I agree with Graham. It's Thomas Lukaszuk and the Progressive Conservative Party.
All right, Janet, take us home.
Who's down the PC party? There's lots of questions out there just about the validity of the election process that they're going to go through on the weekend, and I think it could be a real horror show, just, you know, finding out who's qualified and who's not and counting the ballots. So definitely the PC party's down. and no one is up. This race has been so divisive. It's really just played into apathy. It's played into cynicism, and that's not good for anybody in Alberta, any political party. Nobody is up this week.
All righty, let's leave it there. Graham Thompson, columnist for the Edmonton Journal. Laurie Williams, political scientist at Mount Royal University, and public opinion consultant Janet Brown.